What's up, everybody? Brett here, and I'm back today playing some more Total War Warhammer 2. Check this out. This is a subscriber battle submitted to me by Uzumaki Norio, a channel subscriber and an awesome dude. He sent me this battle with the very simple title, Rattlings. So I think we know which unit is going to be the focal point of this video. It's a 3v3. Don't ask me to pronounce any of these names. I can say general. That's pretty easy. But it's going to be a double Wood Elf Skaven battle versus Empire, High Elves, and Chaos. And right off the bat, check this out, guys. I'm not going to slow-mo this battle unless we get into some pretty epic screenshots. I'm going to hope that you guys know what most of the units on this side of the battlefield do. And we'll just go over the Lords briefly. They've got Karl Franz for the Empire. The key unit will probably be the Sunmaker here. Some decent handgunners, some decent cavalry, and then lots and lots of infantry. The High Elf player went with a good mix of Swordmasters of Hoeth. Some Phoenix Guard here as well. Tyrion is the Lord, and lots of Lothern Sea Guard, while the Chaos player is packing some serious firepower here with 4 Hell Cannons. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Lore of Metal, probably going to be looking for some sweet final transmutations. Some Chaos Spawn, you don't get to see these ugly guys very often. Some standard Chaos Knights, and then just tons of infantry. Some Chaff infantry in the front to take the brunt of this firepower for the Elves. Durthu's over here. He's being protected by his buddies, the Firebark Elders, who give him that resistance to fire damage that he needs if he's going to take some Hell Cannon shots to the face. Another Tree Man, good mix of Eternal Guard, who will pretty happily beat down these Chaos Marauders, with some Wildwood Rangers for that armor piercing, and then there's standard Glade Guards in the back line. So the big thing here that the Skaven player is doing, he's already managed to snipe off 2 Great Cannons. They were here, and now they're not. And that's mainly due to the new unit on the Skaven roster, the Warplock Jezzails. With their great range at 300, their super high accuracy, these guys are basically like Skaven sniper teams, and they just picked them off. Now I think he's going for some of these handgunners if he can, and probably going to want to take the Sunmaker offline as soon as possible, because if you don't, especially against the very numerous Skaven in a 3v3, some serious damage is going to get done. And he's probably pointing his Sunmaker at the wrong target. You want to shoot into the middle of a blob, and the Wood Elf player here, being helmed by a Glade Lord, is blobbing up nicely. Now his infantry is pretty standard. It's his archers that are top tier. He's got the Way Watchers, huge armor piercing. He probably can't see them yet because they're not shooting. And yeah, the Zentler's Reichsguard move up trying to get a frontal charge, but that's going to be a mistake. If the Rattling Gunners are on the battlefield, the Teeth Breakers, and I think they're right here, they've taken some damage, but on hit, they slow units. So that's a pretty dangerous thing you got to be aware of. The Skaven player is rocking Ikit Claw. He's got the Brass Orb. He's got... what else? He's got the Doom Rockets that he shoots out. What are those called? We can get onto this. Storm Demon. Shoots magic missiles. He's also brought the Wheels of Doom, a really cool pick. Love the color scheme there. He's got some elite infantry as well to back up his Warplocks. He's got Storm Vermin with Halberds. He's got standard Storm Vermin. He's got the Council's Guard, the Regiment of Renown Unbreakable unit. And yeah, there's some pretty serious decimation going over there. He's also got some Plague Monk Censer Bearers for armor sundering, which is a nice pick, and I like it. So this battle starts off pretty standard, right? The Wood Elf player runs in. His units kind of get decimated mostly by these Hell Cannons, which are well into the 100 kill range right now. But what he's finding is he's breaking his forces on the front of this Chaos Horde. Meanwhile, the Wood Elf player, or the High Elf player rather, isn't even moving. He's just turning some of his archers to the side to help his Chaos buddy counter skirmish. One criticism, I think a lot of the players in this game are pretty new, so I'm going to be pretty easy on the criticism here. But I would help. The High Elf player is just sitting here in his nice little friendly box. He could be sending some Phoenix Guard to come and tie down the Feral Manticore or some of these other units. He could be sending some of these other archers to this side of the battlefield to help out the Empire player, because he is getting decimated right now. He's got Karl Franz in the air. He tried to throw up a roadblock with his Flagellants, and they are unbreakable, so that will last. Warp Lightning dropping out of the sky, and that's going to hurt these Great Swords pretty bad, kill some Flagellants as well. And yeah, just the sheer volume of fire coming in from the Way Watchers is going to be doing some serious damage to really anything they hit. There's nothing that a Way Watcher shoots at that doesn't almost instantly die. And at this point, the Warblocks are shooting into the Swordmasters of Hoeth, not bad targets. They are technically shielded, so they are a little bit protected from ranged fire. Yeah, and the Wood Elf player over here is pretty much broken. He's got some elements like the Hawk Riders who are still sitting in the air shooting. The Moon Dragon is coming over to try and chase them off. Durthu and his Tree-Man ally are stuck in a blob, which is honestly where Durthu wants to be if he has the right skills. Transmutation of Lead is going to be lowering his stats, but he's still going to be able to beat down this Chaos Sorcerer Lord. But like I said, on either side, the High Elf's ally could use a little bit of help, especially the Empire player. He got run over by a frontal charge of Sisters of the Thorn, some Wood Elf cavalry here. And yeah, he just kind of, he's holding for now, but without any reinforcements, he's going to buckle. And now that the Doom Wheels are just running wild, shooting off their Warp Lightning, and the Wheels of Doom, they can get pinned in by the Royal Outdoor Grippites. That's actually an excellent counter to the Wheels of Doom. But it looks like they were just charging into the infantry. They need to get on this Wheels of Doom and destroy it. And I can't tell right now. It looks like that's not their intended target. Karl Franz is in here fighting the Council Guard. Probably the worst thing in the game that can be fighting. Unbreakable halberd units is not what a large target like Deathclaw wants to be fighting. And he's going to do his best to rout them. I mean, Karl Franz on Deathclaw has a lot of leadership bombing abilities. But in the meantime, check this out. The Rattling Gunners are just teeing off. Tyrion, I think I missed it. When I watched this earlier, I saw that just a little bit of focus fire from the Warplock Jezzails and a little bit of lack of focus from the High Elf player. He was able to rout him in just seconds. He just shot him in the back. He left him standing here, and off he goes. So still with the huge shots from his Hell Cannons. They're racking up ridiculous amounts of kills. 200 here, just completely uncontested. But so are the Teeth Breakers. They're just firing at whatever they want. Here's the Brass Orb. Probably got quite a few decent kills there. And now it's just a matter of trying to push off the Empire player. He's near the edge of the map. But if I was him, I would definitely be pulling my handgunners through this kind of Lothern Sea Guard line and trying to set up a secondary position back here. Whatever the other units I had, I would definitely not be leaving Karl Franz here to fight anything. I would be trying to regroup. To be fair, I think the biggest mistake going on in the entire battlefield right now is this. The Chaos player is taking his entire army, and instead of pushing forward to cover the retreat of all of these ranged units, he's blobbing up around Durthu and letting Durthu and this Tree Man get, dozens of kills they shouldn't have gotten. Just take these two halberd units you have here, put one on each, and then take the entirety of your army and push them this way, and give your allies a nice infantry line behind which they can retreat. That would have been the better strat. These handgunners, unfortunately, are just not going to be able to retreat, sacrificing the silver bullets here to engage the handgunners while the other two attempt to retreat. They still have nearly full ammunition, but check out the Rattling Gunners. Dear God, that Moon Dragon gets shot out of the sky and down it goes. Nothing really escapes these dudes once they get within range. They have 70 armor, so they're not really pushovers against something like just standard archers. Aren't going to be able to counter skirmish them that effectively. Globadiers have a lot more armor, but these guys are a nice middle ground. They also have better range. And a huge blob of Skaven elite infantry, the Council Guard, the Albino Storm Vermin themselves, are pushing in with these standard clan rats and these Censer Bearers with Ikit Claw at their head, and they are going to swarm this Hell Cannon. Pretty useless now, it's out of ammo, but I think they're just trying to get into the juicy back of these Lothern Sea Guard and tear them up. Make sure they don't return. They have a lot of ammo. And even, these tattered Lothern Sea Guard with a front line of Chaos Warriors, they could potentially do a lot of damage. And the Way Watchers still have decent ammunition as well, shooting that armor-piercing volleys into the backs of these guys, and that's going to kill quite a few every time they shoot. More Warp Lightning into this blob and the Brass Orb. It's pretty dangerous to blob up against Ikit Claw. 144 kills right now. The Empire player is basically gone. Karl Franz is still in play. Some handgunners are still in play, but that's really not much. These greatswords are looking to free up these halberds, and they could probably beat the Wardens of Sithrul if they're about as tattered as they are. But those guys are also unbreakable, if I remember correctly. And these Chaos Knights are just getting melted by the Teeth Breakers. They're so slow right now. Their speed is down to 43, which is basically like a fast infantry unit instead of being as fast as a cavalry unit, and they just can't get away. Wow, they're gone. These dudes got destroyed. The Chaos player is now making that front line we talked about, but he's doing it too far back, and he's leaving the High Elf player high and dry. He needs to get in there, you know. This isn't doing anyone any good. And maybe he's struggling with his micro a little bit. I can understand that. 3v3s are pretty hectic. Durthu rallies. After all that like circle beating he did to try and get rid of him, he just rallies. He comes right back. Durthu is a great caster. Lore of Beasts, I do believe. He can summon a Manticore. He can Flock of Doom. He also has his Sword of Daith, which does huge AoE damage. And look at this entire army just flee. There's so many resources left here. Karl Franz is shattered, being chased off by the War Dancers, the Azrai Spears, the ladies with the cool Elvish spears. And yeah, and that's going to be it. Look at the balance of power, completely in their favor. The only thing keeping them in right now are these Chaos Spawn, who are just charging straight in. They're unbreakable. The last charge of these ugly suckers. And the Rattling Gunners, in true Skaven fashion, are going to fill them full of daylight. That's a Rainer quote. Also, Sisters of the Thorn here made their presence felt. I'm very curious to see what kind of kills they were able to get this battle, because he made good use of them. Grinning here. So, let's check it out. 57-62 on the standard. Wild Riders, they must have been the ones I saw do the full frontal charge. But the Sisters of the Thorn are interesting because they have really high physical resistance. I could see you using them as a frontal charge unit and then instantly pulling them back without fear of being chased, because they are cavalry and they do apply poison. The Way Watchers did huge work. The Wardens of Sithril are very powerful. Winterheart Guards. So I think I was getting these two confused. The Wardens of Sithril are not unbreakable. They are the polearm variant of the Wildwood Rangers. So they're great armor-piercing units and great anti-large. It was the Winterheart Guards who are unbreakable. That's who I was thinking of. And yeah, great play from Grinning. Hellhunter here took a pretty rough engagement, and I think honestly had Uzumaki Norio and Grinning not done as well as they did on their side of the battlefield, Hellhunter would have been pretty out of luck. I think also if God had not just sat in Overwatch and decided to reach his holy hands down to the earth and help them out, he would have done some serious damage. Hellhunter probably wouldn't have lasted nearly as long as he did, and I think he probably could have saved Braveheart if he had tried just a bit harder. Not really a knock on him. I think, like I said, I can tell some of these players are a bit newer, and it's hard to micro in a 3v3. Maybe there was lag. That happens quite often. But putting your great cannons that far forward, I think, was a bit of a mistake against the Skaven. You have to expect counter artillery play, and also against Wood Elves. I would be expecting Wildwood. I would be expecting Glade Guard. I would be expecting tons and tons of Way Watchers. Really, the favorite units of people who like to play Wood Elves. And I would probably bring a lot more cheap shielded infantry with just a few hints of units like halberdiers, great swords, just enough to have a punch if I need it. But the damage, the DPS that you're trying to do is going to come from your ranged units for sure. And the Chaos player, I mean, you can't argue with these kind of results. I mean, that's amazing. The Chaos Knights were probably just chasing down routing troops for half the battle. So they got great kills, but I think that's a bit conflated. But these Hell Cannons were basically online the entire battle. They shot all of their ammunition. They shot into huge blobs. So great value here from General. And, as much as I might have knocked the play a little bit in this 3v3, I think the strategies were all sound. General having his Chaos Marauders out front as a good meat shield. They're shielded. They'll take a lot of fire from the Wood Elves. And then having a secondary line of Chaos Warriors was also a good idea. Just layers upon layers to protect your Hell Cannons ended up being probably an effective strategy for them. And then last but not least, Uzumaki Norio. Once again, man, thanks for sending me your replay. You did amazing work with Ikit Claw and also with the Wheels of Doom. I think you used them on the correct targets for most of the battle. Your Warblock Jezzails got Great work done. These kills don't even reflect their value, considering they were able to snipe out all the artillery. The number of rat lives they saved by shutting down these units at the very beginning was huge. And they also, a lot of times, were shooting at units like Sword Masters of Hoeth. I mean, look at these guys, 0, 20, 22. Some of the most expensive things in the battlefield got 0 kills, the Phoenix Guard. But the Teeth Breakers, y'all, 195 kills, shooting at the most important targets on the battlefield, killing this Moon Dragon who only got 2 kills. Um, and the infantry was just there to absorb. They were there to, shield wall. And then at the end, just running around with a pack of just Storm Vermin and these Plague Monk Sensor Bears, 103 kills. They're great DPS units if you can protect them. And I didn't even see the Assassin. That's how sneaky he was. But he managed to rack up 30 kills himself. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Big thanks once again to Uzumaki Norio. Thanks for your subscription, man. Thanks for sending me the replay. If you'd like to send me a replay, my name is Brett, and on Steam, I'm Goodtalk Gaming. That's my YouTube channel. And all you gotta do is add me on Steam, say, hey man, I'm a subscriber. I'd love to send you this Total War Warhammer 2 replay that I just did, and I'll cast it. It's pretty much that easy. I'm running a little short on time these days because I'm trying to get other games onto the channel, and I'm trying not to put 4 videos a day up on YouTube because that's kind of crazy. But hopefully I can mix in more Total War Warhammer 2 stuff, and you guys will enjoy that. And this was a fun one. I've got quite a few replays on deck thanks to some friends and other subscribers, so I'm good to go for the short term. But if you have a great game and you want to send it to me, please feel free. This was a blast to watch. Like I said, I watched it twice, and I enjoyed it both times. So that's how good it was. Without any further ado, guys, thank you so much. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care.